of the famous Rabbanim of yesteryear. Friends, we're in Morocco. It's the 26th of Elul. Chaf Vav Elul marks the Hilula of a great rabbi. His name was Rabbi Haim Pinto. In fact, he was nicknamed Rabbi Haim Pinto Z'tl, one of the great rabbis of his generation in Morocco, from one of the most illustrious Moroccan famous families in Jewish history. He would actually become not just one of the great rabbis over there, he'll become a Rosh Yeshiva, he'll be a דיין, that is a Jewish judge in the Bet Din, he'll become a great Kabbalist, a מקובל, especially inside the city vicinity of Mogador, a very, very prominent Jewish and Torah flourishing community that place had in itself, I think by the port of Morocco in of itself. So let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. He was born actually in English year 1743, passed away in the year 1845. He was approximately 102 years of age at the time of passing. He was born in an area in Morocco, I think in the southern part of Morocco, called Agadir over there. And he actually came from great rabbinic auspices. His father was Rabbi Shlomo Pinto. I think his grandfather was also a very, very great rabbi, Rabbi Yeshiyahu Pinto Harishon. They were named after Rishon, Sheni, many of the great rabbis of these great rabbinic dynasties in various different vicinities, especially in the North African countries, because very, very much had great rabbis in their family, many of them with the same name. So it's actually his father, I think, passed away in the year Hey Taf Kuf Tet Vav, if I'm not mistaken. And after, I think he was actually appointed into various different prominent positions in Mogador in of itself over there. I think he actually moved to Mogador from the specific area from Agadir where he actually lived previously. I think that one of the reasons why he actually moved there was because there was an economic crisis that hit that specific Agadir city in of itself. It's actually interesting that we stated before on many occasions about the great rabbis that there were at that point in time. He had a close relative, Rabbi Meir Pinto, who actually came to learn inside the yeshiva of Rabbi Yaakov Bibas, Rabbi the Bibas family we've spoken about before. He happens to be the great rabbi of the congregation of Mogador itself, respectively, Rabbi Bibas did over there. And he would actually come in and learn, I believe, inside that yeshiva, become very, very famous as one of the great rabbis over there. It's actually interesting. After, I think, Rabbi Yaakov Bibas actually passed away, he was actually appointed the rabbi of this congregation of Mogador in this specific community over there, which was a very, very prominent position at that stage in time. It was took on a lot of great responsibilities, and he was actually at quite a young age, and I think he was also heading this position with another famous Kabbalist in Morocco. His name was Rabbi David Chazan, another one of the great rabbis in this specific vicinity. So they very much were leading the community after that. They founded, I think, over there, the Bet Din Harabbanei Rishon, but Mogador, a Bet Din, a Jewish court over there, great rabbinic Jewish court over there, and that took also a lot of responsibility within the great rabbis, because obviously it was needed at that point in time. There was importance because of the big Jewish community there. There had to be like a firmness within regards to the realm of halacha, and he actually was took on a name in of itself because of this Abir Lev. It was because of that firm heart, that means over here, because when you have to rule properly in many of the various different halachic considerations. So he was very, very excellent. And he was attentive to all the needs of the community in general. He had a great concern for the poor. I think they established various charitable organizations to make sure everyone will have whatever needs, basic needs, are necessary inside this place. He headed a yeshiva inside the city, and one of the famous students actually of his was Rabbi David Zagori, another one of the great rabbis, who he would actually become a great payatan, a great darshan in of itself, a rabbinic master giving great sermons. He also became a rabbi, a Rosh Yeshiva in Marrakesh, his Talmid, Rabbi Zagori would, and the great Posek Halacha, rabbi that renders various different halachic, important matters within regards to itself. So that was one, let's say, his star student. He wrote poetry, including, I think there was a famous poem that was actually compiled called the Eli Armanhu. This was, I think, actually various different poems in the honor of Hanukkah and within regards to various different occasions in of itself. So that's very, very interesting. He did various different compositions, I think, in Halacha, in Kabbalah, and within regards to the Shas, the Talmud Bavli in of itself. Some of these teachings actually were lost, I think, at the time of maybe the Spanish Inquisition, or when I think a war broke out in Spain. I think it was actually in the vicinity of Asuwara, if I'm not mistaken. Also, he ended up with various different positions, and he did a lot of things in the community. Jewish life was absolutely thriving, especially at the time of the Hilula of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. They did great events at that point in time. Naturally, that's Lag BaOmer, that is Yud Chet Iyar, the 18th of Iyar. And also, they would, for Rabbi Meir Bal Hanes, I think during the time of the Hilula over there, especially on Chag HaShavuot, they would learn Torah for 2 nights, with a great diligence from the night till the morning, as it's many people have the minhag, the custom to stay up the whole night. So I think they were part of doing a whole tikkun, or they were definitely learning with the whole time of that Shavuot night in of itself. I think in the various different books of Moroccan Judaism, they recollect many of the great stories of the great rabbis, of the miracles that were attributed to him. He passed away, as we said before, on Chaf Vav Elul in the year Taf Reish Hey, over there, and he was actually buried, I think, in the old cemetery in Muggador, if I'm not mistaken, also. And he left 4 great sons, rabbinic sons, also Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yeshayahu, and Rabbi Yaakov. Also, I believe his grandson was Rabbi Haim Pinto Z'tl, who actually dwelt and was a great rabbi also in Casablanca. We've spoken about Casablanca before, where they had a really, really great rabbanim over there. I think the book, which was featured many of the great stories of his miracles, was called the Chachmei Morocco. That's the name of the book. I think it's a very thriving and very well-selling book in of itself. Now we can relate to more things within regards to the great rabbi. I think whenever it is his Hilula on the 26th of Elul, Jews from all over the world come on a pilgrimage to pray at the rabbi's grave, at his kever, respectively, which we said before is an old cemetery, I think, in Asuwara also. It's actually interesting just to recollect also. He's remembered actually as a great rabbi, where many of his prayers were answered in heaven, and many miracles actually resulted from that. There's actually the famous Rabbi Haim Pinto synagogue. I think that it's a building that was Rabbi Pinto's home in of itself. It was where the office was and the synagogue, and it's actually preserved in modern day as a historic site, if I'm not mistaken. Also, many of the followers and descendants have various different synagogues worldwide. I think including there's a Rabbi Pinto Center also in Pico Boulevard in Los Angeles, in California, which is interesting. I think this in of itself was actually founded by Rabbi Yaakov Pinto. He has many great descendants also, I think, including Rabbi Yeshayahu Yosef Pinto, who is an Israeli Moroccan great rabbi at the moment. I think he leads an organization called the Mostot Shavu Yisrael. I think this in of itself is based in Ashdod, and I think he's also got in New York City also, and he's a famous Kabbalist also. Actually, interesting enough, just as an added tidbit, they actually named Rabbi Yeshayahu Yosef Pinto as one of the 10 wealthiest rabbis in Israel. This is as of the year 2012, if I'm not mistaken. So that's an extra added tidbit in regards to great rabbi. We know the Pinto family, the great rabbinic families of Israel, of Morocco, of all time. So please don't forget to light candles in his memory. Friends, we've covered already around 400 rabbis, the great rabbis of the year. We've probably covered around 40 or 50 great Moroccan rabbis. Please subscribe to the channel. We are a community here. Please like the videos and share the videos, and drop me your comments also. I'm wishing you all a great Shabbat, because I'm recording this just before Shabbat Parshat Nitzavim Vayelech. So take care and have a